My name is Natalie Prez, and I have an interview with the main frontman of the band Moonspell on April 3rd, 2012. For those who aren't familiar with Moonspell, can you give me a brief summary as to how you guys came to be and everything?
Yeah, I start by saying we are a Portuguese dark metal band that we've been existing since 89. Back at the time called Morbid Gods, and yes, Moonspell, actually 2012, it's our 20th anniversary. We already did a lot of stuff. We've been touring in the States and in North America in general. It's quite some time right now, and we have a new album out. It's a very special album for us because, we made many albums, but we kind of find the energy and the enthusiasm to make it everything again, like album again, going on tour and all of that. It's called Alpha Noir. It comes out with a bonus disc, Omega White. And right now, I'm Fernando, and we are, practicing, doing promotion, this kind of stuff. It's what occupies our days and nights right now.
Sounds like a pretty productive schedule.
Sometimes it's crazy.
Let's see, where are you in the recording process of the new album?
Well, everything is done right now. We wrote this album for 4 years. It's probably the album that took the most time to write, because we wanted, to improve as musicians, as songwriters, to make something interesting also for the crowds who listen to our band. So everything was recorded in between 2011 and 2012, and we have recorded in 2 places. One for the drums, we went to Denmark, north of Europe, because we worked there without producing too much, and that already did a couple of Moonspell records, including the last one, Night Eternal. And the other stuff, like the other tracking, guitars, vocals, cellos, female vocals, all of that was recorded actually in our own studio around Lisbon, Portugal. And that was quite cool, because it's like a comfort zone to us, and we could be very comfortable and take our time. We didn't have the clock ticking to pay the studio time, so we kind of, were more at ease to record this album. So it's fully recorded. It's coming out the 27th of April here in Europe, and a couple of days, I think, the 3rd of May or the 4th of May, I'm not sure, in North America.
Cool. Sounds pretty good to me. Who is producing the album? It's like mixed
and mastered and produced by Tu Madsen, a Danish producer which worked with, not only Moonspell, but also Ectomorph and The Haunted, for instance. But we had also another producer from Germany that was working with us more in the arrangements. It's called Benny Richter. And also Pedro from Moonspell, our keyboard and guitar player. He also had something, to do with that. So it was like a production that involved many people, because, we always get involved in the end. So this time around, we just went for it and also have a little production credit.
Yeah. How has the band's sound evolved since your last release on this album?
Well, I think right now the main difference between Night Eternal and this Alpha Noir and Omega White is that, Night Eternal was written faster. So it was a more dance album. We had more death metal influences. And this time around we'd like to, evolve a little bit, because I think it's important, and Moonspell never did 2 albums that actually sound the same in a way. But the good thing is that, we have incorporated influences from our past, not only as musicians, but also as people who actually enjoy listening to music. There's a lot of thrash metal influence in our album because our guitar player Ricardo, he was hanging out with the Definite guys and in these metal crews, 70,000 tons of metal, and he's a big thrash and speed metal fan himself. So we kind of brought this together with Pedro to the band. So I think right now, I think the songs got a little bit catchier. They're more simple, not so dense in their structure. But I think in a way they are better songs because they are more distinctive. It's not that we have changed dramatically from the last album. I just think we improved on the songs, creating different atmospheres, creating songs that are more gothic rock, other songs that are more straightforward metal, because our crowds really divides into two, and so does the band. We love our metal, but we also have a very, very heavy gothic influence, which was it's still a very big thing in Europe. It's a little bit different from what goth is in the States. We kind of relate more, to the UK goth, like bands like Mercy, but also there's, a band from the United States, from Brooklyn, New York, Typo Negative, which is also a heavy influence. So we kind of try to give our own twist into the final, thing. But I think in the end it comes out original. But obviously we have, influences from many bands as well.
Cool. Sounds pretty interesting. Was your songwriting and recording process any different or for this album?
Very different. I mean, up to the recording of this album, we always went a little bit more, on the classic way. We went a couple of weeks into the studio. Normally we record outside Portugal. We were there, and it was really cool. We had fun and we did our job. But then again, to record so many songs and to do such an ambitious thing, because altogether both albums time 80 minutes of music, so it's a lot. We had also to think in the practical side, and the practical side was that we'll never have money enough to do this all in the studio. So we kind of turned things around, and I think the experience was even better than recording in a broad studio, because we recorded in our home studio. We kind of improved it with equipment, and we had the producers flying here to make all the setup and all of that, so we could make everything with a perfect sound there. And also Mike, our drummer, he went to Denmark, and because there was a new thing going on, and the studio there had like an empty interior swimming pool, indoor swimming pool, and it just it was like bands recorded in the 70s. Something like, for the sound, it creates a lot of atmosphere and a lot of natural reverb. So Mike recorded there, and it was a very cool experience to watch him playing inside an empty pool, and the sound is really great as well. So I think definitely these recordings were very different from anything else we have done so far, but in the end, as it was such a long process, it was more enjoyable as well.
All right. How does it feel to be a part of the Napalm Records family?
It's good. I mean, we're just brand new there. In the past, we were in the Century Media and SPV, but that changed. And when we recorded the album and when we had everything ready, it was time to look for a label. And there was fortunately a couple of labels interested. But I think Napalm revealed two things that separated them from the rest. It was enthusiasm, and also they have to prove something. And their story is quite similar to the story of Moonspell. They started out as an underground black metal label, and then they were evolved into a bigger thing. And I think I can relate to that as well. And I think they're very authentic people, and they're working hard. So they have really the profile we look for in a label. And I think that this record, it's very important not only for the label but also for the band. And I think everything is going quite well. I keep daily contact with them, and everything's perfect so far.
What inspired the album title, and is this a concept album?
I think in many ways I'm very into conceptual music. I cannot probably understand music that doesn't have a concept. That's why I don't like pop or entertainment music, because it's kind of the void in a way. And I think what always attracted me to rock and heavy metal was the fact that it was deep in a way. There was a lot of lyrics about ancient history and myths and you name it. So we kind of try also to follow that tradition to create something that is not just your typical album titles or something that merely scratches the surface. So I was after Night Eternal, that is like the end of the world as we know it, and I was thinking that there's always something. People always survive. You see it in the movies, and it's true. So I got very inspired by these movies like The Road and stuff like that, and apocalyptic literature. So this time around, I wanted to imagine the beginning. And Alpha, it's the first letter of the Greek alphabet, and it also represents the beginning of things. But the noir, it's a French word that you also use in English. That is kind of a shade of black in a way. So I think that the whole album's concept, in a way, especially coming from Portugal, which is a country that is really on crisis, I think we definitely are in need of a new beginning. And I think it won't be peaceful in a way. But also, in the end, people will prevail and humanity will prevail. And I mean humanity just as mankind, but as a kind of a quality we have in ourselves, and I think that Alpha Noir, in the end, it's an album about taking your own actions and your own attitude, not to get caught, in the financial crisis web or something like that, that it's, very adult and very serious, but in the end of the day, you have your kids to feed, and you have your stuff to do, and I think when you can manifest that also through art, literature and records, it's also good, because I think people need to wake up each other in a way, and I think Alpha Noir stands for a new beginning upon, some ashes that we'll have to leave behind from our actual world, because I think things are not really working for anyone.
Wow. All right. How would you describe the overall sound of this album?
Well, it's split in two, as I said. So Alpha Noir is very of a Firestarter album. It's very, meat and bones in a way. It's very in your face and raw and aggressive. It's like, when gladiators go into the arena, it's loud.
Yeah.
But the other album, Omega White, it's totally different of sorts. It's like when they come out of the arena and they go to the healing room, to tend their wounds and think about their families. So we kind of wanted to capture this duality in the album, and I think the sound really follows along. One of the sounds is very, very even extreme and rocking, while the other sound it's a little bit more atmospheric, more in the background. So I think that defines the album. It's hard to tell, but I think it's possible definition.
Yeah. What are your expectations for this CD?
Well, when we're working so hard, even if you get tired, it's a cool thing because you don't have time for expectations. And I think that the problem with the world is expectations. And when I recall that when we first started, nobody knew about us in the States, and we have toured there already, and we were able to be in a tour bus, and to have some food here and there and some drinks. I think that that tells me a lot, because when we started as a small underground band, and sometimes it still happens to us and many other bands in different territories, it was like playing getting nothing, and always hoping for the best. And I think that's the kind of expectations I do have. I know it's hard. I know there's a lot of competition. I know we're banned from Portugal, so that doesn't place us immediately in the eye of the world like Scandinavian or the American or the German or the UK bands. So it's a kind of a fight, but I think we came into the world definitely to fight, and sometimes Portuguese people forget about it and they just complain about everything. But I think my expectations is always to keep working and to keep really loving what we do musically, because sometimes you are in interviews and you always talk about stuff, but you forget to think about the essential, which is the music. Make it still interesting and challenging for us, and it is.
Yeah.
And quite excited about that, and I think that it's what will keep us going throughout the years. And I think that the rest, there's always a solution. I mean, if you don't have 10 beers, you share 5, and that's it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty laid back and cool. What else can we expect to see from you guys for this year?
Well, right now we are, in train of going on tour. It starts off in the European festival season, Wacken, and a lot of festivals we are playing. So this goes up to the end of September. We're going to play also club shows in different countries of Europe, like Greece and Turkey and Bulgaria and East, West, Central, all of Europe.
Yeah.
And then we have another tour in November in Europe, and then we will join the Barge to Hell, which is the new metal cruise that will happen in December, and then we're trying to book the dates around December, January, so we can, or late November, so we can also, tour for a little bit in North America and also in Latin America. While we are there in the territory, of course, we want to bring this Alpha also overseas. So I think basically the plan is to tour a lot, to put up a good show, and also to try to impress people into buying the record. That's right now what we are, looking at.
Yeah, just trying to get the name out there and get yourselves noticed.
Yeah, same old. It's always like this, you can never take anything for granted, so we really have to work hard. Nowadays, there's a lot of bands, and people don't have money to listen to them all.
Yeah, I know how that is. And is there anything else you'd like to say or add?
Well, just thank you for the support. It was a very nice interview. Thank you very much. And if you guys are interested in a Portuguese metal band, to check out about Portuguese metal, check out our new album, Alpha Noir. And also, you should try and could get the special edition. You'll get Omega White as well. And I hope to see you, from the stage whenever we can go overseas with this tour. So, cheers, Ellen Kill.